give up. He encouraged himself. As you know, one thing that David does, he wrote the Psalms. Most of the Psalms, I think a lot of the Psalms that David wrote was in a situation where, a real life situation, where his life is in danger, or he's in a distress. Like here, in Psalm, if you read your Bibles in Psalm 35, David said, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning." Yes, that always has that positive attitude that, in this difficulty, in this night, morning is coming. So we don't give up. And one of the great qualities of David is that, he asked for guidance. In verse 7, we see here, when this happened, maybe for some, kung siguro ang ibang tao yun, sasabihin niya, tara, akas na tayo, bago tayo patayin ng mga kasama natin. Maybe we have to go, we have to escape before they stone us, right? But you know what? David is he trusts the Lord. That's why he said, he called Abiathar the priest and said, "Bring me the ephod." You know what ephod is? It's a garment that the priest wear whenever they pray. It's like something you put on top of your dress to the front and the back. And then they have some precious stones laid on the front. And so he asked God for guidance. He asked God for guidance and prayed. So that's what David did. So siguro again, that is a lesson for us brothers that, maybe if we are in a situation that we want to run, instead we have to ask God for guidance. Right? We ask God for guidance. Because, if only with ourselves, talagang it's scary. And so when they pray, God said, you fight, you go, because you will be victorious. Sing pa kaya? Amen, amen. So now, sabi nung nag-pray siya, asked God for guidance, said, go ahead, you will win. So David trusts the Lord. So what happens is, they pursued. So they were about 600 men. They are already tired from the battle. They were so depressed because of what happened to their city. It's all torn down. And then now they are running against time because they were pursuing the Amalekites who took their wives and their children and their provisions, their food, and everything that they have. So nung time wala sila. So will it happen to you that you have nothing, and then you're in a hurry? And this is what happened. You get exhausted, right? And then along the way, while they were on the way, they were 400 or 600. Some of the men were so tired. I think they're really tired because they just came from a battle. They just won, and now when they went home, there's nothing there, nothing to celebrate. Now they have to pursue the enemy, and so some of them were really, really, really tired. So I think I can understand na pagod na talaga sila. Siguro maybe some of them were already crawling because they don't have enough sleep. And some they probably still have injuries, some leg or arm pain here and there because of the previous battle that we had. And so if you read here in verse 9, there were 600 men, and while they were on the one valley, some of them stayed behind. There were 200 men who were exhausted to cross the valley. But, so what happened is 200 were left behind and 400 went continued. So probably in this situation, David was more distressed na, I only have 600 men, and now 200 are too tired to fight. Now there's only 400 left. And David don't even know how many were the enemies. They're pursuing something that they don't know if they can defeat. So it's hard, brothers, right? Sometimes we are in a situation, even in our life, where we don't know if we can even do it, right? Did it happen to you? You were in a situation where you want to do it, but you're not even sure whether you can do it or not. So this is the case, brothers and sisters. They were pursuing, they were running against time so that they can get their wives and their children, but they aren't sure. Deep down in their heart, they have this uneasiness because they're not sure if they can win, right? And along the way, because another thing is they don't know where the enemies are. They were pursuing, but they know where they are. But if you see, continue here, brothers, in verse 7, verse 11, they found an Egyptian. So this guy is 3 days already without food. I think he is injured and probably left to die. He left there to die. But probably, brothers, for me, probably God allowed it so that God can use that man to give direction to them. Because what? Out of nowhere, they see this guy, an Egyptian guy. So David sent of them and then interviewed him, gave him food because he hadn't had enough food for 3 days. And then they gave him some food to eat. And now he was able to talk and, who are you? Where are you from? And then he said, I'm an Egyptian. My master left me because I'm sick. So does it happen to you, brothers and sisters, sometimes when we see people when sometimes they are no longer useful, that people just dump them. They're saying they're useless. It happens, right? Even here in Canada, when people think that somebody is no longer useful. Like even in movies, right? If you see in the movies, when you're no longer useful, they will, do something, you have no use. But here, brothers and sisters, God can use anybody to be His instrument to lead people. So in this case, brothers and sisters, that Egyptian, that seemed to be used as Egyptian, was used by God. See, as another example is, it's something that, it's like something that's very insignificant, right? Sometimes, even in our life, we meet people that we think they're not that, they're not that famous. They're not that important. But you never know. Maybe God can use that person for something that you might need, right? Just like this, brothers, I made an example that, that seed over there, you know how much when it grows, it becomes a tree? It's like that. See? So sometimes we see something that's so insignificant, yet we never know when it becomes big. It can help us. In this case, brothers and sisters, without that person, they might not have found where the enemies are. Siguro di na nila nakita yung wives and family nila. Maybe they were not able to find them. And too bad, the enemies left the guy. Ginawa sa kanya, iniwan lang siya nung kaaway nila dahil they thought he's not useful anymore. But you know what? God used that one person to defeat those people who did these things to them. So brothers and sisters, another lesson in our life na that everyone is important, however big, however small it is, because one day, maybe there will come a time that there's no other person that will help you but that person. Amen? And so brothers and sisters, as I said a while ago, while they were pursuing the enemies, they were only 600 people, and then 200 of them gave up and said, "Di na namin kaya. We can't help you." One thing we can learn here, brothers and sisters, once again, is to use what you have left. David has only 400 men left, but he still used that 400. You know, even in the Bible, you can see a lot of stories where a few are left, but still they are useful. It's like in the time of Jesus, right? They only have 3 fish and 5 loaves of bread. But the 3 and 5 loaves of bread has turned into something, right? Or maybe a jar of oil. A jar of oil and some flour.